I was in one firm for 12 years, so as you can imagine, we almost became each other's family and friends. But there was always a boundary for me. There was only so much that I would share because it wasn't by definition that maybe it wouldn't be used against you.
You are about to listen to part of a series where every month a member from our community shares with us a little about themselves, how they came to find out about the ACL Global Project, as well as what drives them to do the work that they do, and perhaps even a bit about their hopes and dreams. This is the ACL Member Spotlight series, and in today's episode we are featuring Shakti Radhakishun.
I am Shakti Radhakishun, or Shakti Radhakishun, as some people pronounce it, which is how it's usually pronounced. I live in Miami, Florida right now. I am almost 52, and I am a certified professional coach. Coaching has so many different ways that people think of it, but for me, I partner with individuals to explore and give them space to connect to what is needed for them to find the solutions that they're looking for, or to find the answers or the resolutions, whatever it is that they feel they need support in. Typical day for me, I like a nice slow start. My husband and I, we have two dogs. We go for as long of a walk as possible. I like to do a mini crossword or something to just wake up all different parts of myself. It's nice because every morning before I walk the dogs, I check out my calendar, make sure I know what's on there and that I don't get late for anything. I like to make time for one-on-one meetings with people in person. So I like to have coffee or lunch, or but people who are aligned with me, who are aligned with where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do. I like to keep weekends and evenings for friends, family, and stuff like that. The way that I feel that coaching is really powerful is that there's no advice that is given in coaching. My agenda is non-existent. The client brings the expertise in themselves, and the questions that a coach asks are meant to spotlight or highlight or bring them in a space where they can consider alternatives or aspects of what it is they're sitting with that they haven't already considered. It's a fantastic alignment, and it's one of the reasons that after I met Mavis and was invited to the initial global meeting that she had, I didn't know what to expect. I had no clue what ACL really was going to bring. I had no experience in it, but I was in a year of saying yes. That is not my typical way to be. And I was very consciously saying yes, especially to things I was unfamiliar with or that felt uncomfortable. So I said yes, I attended. The first thing that really resonated for me were the principles of how we show up and how much that aligns with coaching, because that is the way in which we create trust. It's a way to create space for someone else to just be with whatever is there. There's confidentiality, there is lack of judgment, there is lack of expectations. And with those just three basic things, even if you don't know the other person on the other side of the screen, you can go to a place in yourself that is much deeper. Coaches give feedback, don't get me wrong, but that initial premise of listening, where each person can express what is there for them, that is the space where you blossom from. And the place where coaching takes it to subsequent to that is that in coaching, you then ask questions. You probe, you might challenge, because the client is here to achieve some goal. I am a member of the International Coaching Federation South Florida chapter. So I met Valerie in relation to the preparations for the World Happiness Fest, where Mavis is involved as well. I think she's on the board. Valerie and I were aligned in playing a role in getting the fest going and organizing the fest. And during the festival, it must have been the very first day, I met Mavis as we were arriving at the FIU campus in Miami. I wasn't exactly sure what her role was. I didn't know what she did. I just noted In my mind, she came across as a very soft and attentive person. I noticed that when I was speaking to her, she was really looking at me and really hearing me. Initially, I had to catch myself because it's a very deep experience when somebody is really looking at you and listening to you. There's something about how she does it that is quite powerful. That was my initial experience with her. We must have had each other's information because I received an email as an invitation to attend the next ACL meeting. Later on in that year, I got the invitation to do the leadership training, which also felt like the right time. It really resonates. It's something that's so perfectly aligned with what I like to do. So why not do it? And with the idea of co-leading with Valerie, which was quite exciting because we work very well together. I really enjoyed the training. I think the training really hit on the things that I felt I needed to be attentive to and focus on. This is not something I grew up doing. In my prior career, there was no space for any of that. This is a whole new way for me to show up. And it's not an aspect of myself that didn't exist. It's an aspect of myself that I think I never really had a need to develop and focus on. I was always about keeping moving. Let's keep moving. Let's get things done. That was my thing is let's just get things done. I went to college and then into investment banking. Nobody says these words, but there was a very strong and immediate expectation that you just get the work done. Either you do it or you don't do it. But you choose and you show up based on the choices that you make. That's always been my perspective, which may not have been very pleasant for a lot of people. And ultimately landed me with a coach because I needed to maybe see and learn and recognize that my way of showing up was not resonating with the new generation of people who were coming in. And then being an ACL, that leadership style, it's a whole different way of showing up, right? I went into it with the expectation of, I'm probably going to really stink at this and this is not going to be my thing. People have not described me in the past as the heart-centered, kind, warm. So not that I don't have those qualities, but that's not how people have described me as how I show up professional. I was in one firm for 12 years. As you can imagine, we almost became each other's family and friends. But there was always a boundary for me. There was only so much that I would share because it wasn't by definition that maybe it wouldn't be used against you. And so it's a very different way of showing up. So I said, let me figure out what I want to do. But in either case, what I do know is I need to show up as a different kind of leader. I need to add this human way of leading, the project-based leadership, the human leadership. That's why I started coaching. And with ACL, I know that the ACL leadership training expanded and deepened my connection to that aspect of how I lead. We did 2 meetings last year, both of which went really well. We picked topics that were really perfect for both of us. We want to do quarterly meetings. We definitely want to bring an in-person aspect to it because while it's a little bit bigger of a project, because you need to find the space, you need to make sure that there's safety, confidentiality, all those little things that are so easy on Zoom, not so easy in person when you need to have a space. We're going to be a bit more mindful this year about having an intentional calendar of events and targets that we want to hit and really kind of pin down some of the things that end up taking a little bit more time than we'd like in the scheme of getting the protocol ready. So it's exciting. It's fun stuff. I really enjoy doing all this with Valerie. Maybe it's always been like this, but maybe now I'm paying attention and now I'm noticing it more. I feel like humanity is just taking a very scary path. I feel like there's just never enough. Nothing is ever enough. And nothing is ever okay. And nothing is ever acceptable. I see this globally. I see it at a micro level. I see it in individuals. There's just so much pressure. We need to build. We need to grow. We need to keep getting bigger. We need to keep expanding. I really feel passionate about, can we savor and flourish what we have now? Can we focus on what is right here, right now, and needs help and attention, and needs love, compassion, and all these beautiful things that we have in us that we don't actually bring out? So can we pay attention to that? I'm not saying let's not grow, let's not develop. I'm not saying we need to be static, but can we do a little bit more of this other stuff too? Because I feel like it's getting buried. At the end of the day, for me, it comes down to integrity, because when you're living in integrity, it's in integrity with what, right? With your values, with your standards, with the morals, the cultural morals, all those things. But I think it's important to keep in mind what we want to say no to and need to say no to, so that we can say yes to the things that are important to us and are valuable to us. And no matter what is happening or how much you feel pulled in a million different directions, you can't ever do everything, and you're not meant to. And at some point, the natural world is going to be what it is, and people will be who they are. And so I think that as long as I can have the freedom and the agency to be myself and to live in my integrity, these are things to sacrifice for. I think what I am already learning from this community, and what I want to go deeper in, is all the different ways in which we can show up with compassion and from the heart, right? I want to experience it more. And every single meeting that I attend, and every single new person that I get magically, perfectly paired up with, brings another nugget of value, experience. And I actually just want to experience not having my agenda, which is kind of perfect for this space. I literally can just show up without an agenda every single time. And that's exactly how you need to be. So that is, to me, a beautiful thing, to just be more and more with that, not having an agenda.
That was Shakti Radhakishun, and this is the ACL Member Spotlight series, where every month we feature another one of our outstanding members of the Awareness, Courage, and Love Global Project. We hope you enjoyed this talk, and we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Doing so will not only keep you informed of when we feature our next Member Spotlight, but also help us towards our goal of becoming monetized, so that we can continue developing and bringing you this type of programming.